understanding the sex demons and war demons on the earth and in certain regions and how it plays a role in negative outcomes for those regions. So a lot of people talk about the Middle East. A lot of people talk about certain countries deserving to be destroyed because of a certain psychology that those humans have. That certain regions on the earth, shouldn't exist, nor their people, right? And, well, yeah, there may be a reason why, in fact, some regions on the earth experience certain hardships, punishments, if you will, from God. Why might that be? And what type of punishments and disasters could we possibly be talking about? Human trafficking, earthquakes, famines, storms, disasters, power outages that never come back, and a whole host of human and non-human wolves and werewolves and vampires coming to attack, coming to eat, coming to devour, coming to destroy, and no one and nothing standing in their way to protect them. For the hand of protection is removed. This, my friends, is the fate of many places on the earth, where they have sinned, and they have sinned greatly against God. And they did it from their inception. We look at Portland, Oregon, for example. Thank you for the like. We have Portland, Oregon, literally created out of darkness. Boom, here comes the city. We're building the city. Bring on the hookers. Bring on the male hookers, the male whores to build the city and do the masonry and boom, knock down the stairs with a blackjack. You're in the Navy now, boy. To be shanghaied by crimps, not pimps, but crimps. Trafficked by demons, not sex demons, but violent demons nonetheless. And so they humped and they fucked the night away, and they drank the night away as they created Portland, as they created Dante's Inferno, and literally created dangerous, horrible situations for Chinese. And so Portland began to build and fornicate and build its population of evil motherfuckers. With organized crime, gambling, prostitution, and dancing, and selling of that flesh. From its inception, they bedded down with evil and sinned against Christ and God. From the beginning in Portland, Oregon, they were always fucktards. They were always porno freaks from the beginning. And so we have the history of Portland, Oregon that they want to run from and hide from. We have Portland Confidential. We have other books you can obtain on Amazon that talk about the real Portland, Oregon, that modern Portland, Oregon wants to pretend exists. And the nightmare of men being trafficked, stripped naked, their shoes taken off them, and then kicked down a flight of stairs where there's nothing but broken glass, so that they can't run and hide, with a bunch of demons and vampires moving into Portland, Oregon, going, so cute, Shanghai tunnels, I want to go, I want a ticket, I want to see it, oh look, Voodoo Donuts, I like the Voodoo Donuts, oh look, Portlandia, the TV show, wow, let's just go, invade the innocent city with its legs wide open, a city just waiting to get fucked, and gang fucked it has been. This Portland, Oregon, raped by these demonic vampires and witches that don't give a fuck what a city turns into when you can't afford the rent. $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,000. Do you realize what this does to the human brain? Do you realize what this does to a human being? Do you realize what this does to a woman's sexuality? Do you understand what this reality of high rent does to supposed spirituality? Everything's for sale. Everything's high dollar. Everything you paid for this, that, everything is about the worship of money and selling yourself for money. Something that doesn't even officially exist. Pause. So these people, these women, these men that are living in Portland are being abused. They're being abused. These women that are growing up in Portland, Oregon, I always knew the whole time they're being abused by the city that's allowing these porno stores, these strip clubs, these jack shacks. If you want to talk about sexual freedom, talk about sexual freedom. But what you're doing there with encouraging masturbation out in the open, outside of City Hall, and then people want to look down upon me, who are even from Portland, Oregon, who shouldn't even be, as far as I'm concerned, watching this fucking channel. Comments are shut off because they're a distraction from my discussion. That's why. You want to talk to me? It's Magic Chip 333 at proton.me. It's Solar Storm 333 at proton.me. You want to talk to me? You want to help me? Or are you ready for the rant? The real reason why men don't befriend me. The real reason why I have a dominant masculine male audience, but they don't actually help me in the real world. Make sure I'm on topic before I go back to Planet Pop-Tart. There's a reason. Let me check here. I'm all over the map. Let's talk about Portland and karma. There's a reason why men in general, and Portland men, don't actually like me. Portland men, Washington men, Montana men, Colorado men. Why do they refuse to befriend me after 50 years of watching my channel? Oh, soon it'll be 50. But right now, how long have you been here? Oh, 7 years. Where are those that have been around 18 years? Folks, it started in 2004. Now think McFlys that are going to be here later. Why can't the men stick around for longer than a few years? What's wrong with the men in Portland? What happened to them? Why, when men are given my belongings in Portland, Oregon, like Alex White of Southeast, and I ask him to keep my stuff, why does he throw my stuff away? Why does the content on my channel get so spicy that it results in me losing my physical possessions? Why are these people scumbags? And so you need to understand, you're dealing with weak people. When you're dealing with modern men or women, and they're getting there sexually, and they're having an orgasm, they don't have normal, rational empathy for a man who has nothing. They will look down upon that man while pretending to be friendly. Why would you seek love in a loveless world when love is medicine? And they should know that if they're seeking love on their own. They're being intellectually and spiritually dishonest with that person for even acting in that manner. And so I know the true nature of what's on the other side of this screen. We are not dealing with, and we did it this year. We did the test, Portland. I spoke to you, Portland. I created the podcast in HD, Portland. And a person named who's probably having a good time, having a good beer in Portland, having a lot of sex with a person named and so they're at a different level. They think they're anti-racist. They think they're spiritual. They think they're fighting the system, when in fact they don't know the first thing about fighting the system. And so when I talk to this person in Portland, hey, why do you ignore my shows? Why don't you comment on all the research that I'm doing and all the things that I'm saying? He's like, nah. No, here's what's wrong with you. Point 1, point 2, point 3. Wah, wah, wah. Bro, what are you doing? Nothing but hanging out with down to the local bar. Have a drink on me. Nothing but judging and keeping your ass in a mainstream, Portland, mind you, left-wing conspiratorial worldview, which is a very troubled place to be. You really don't know what to be when you're a Portlander and you're a conspiracy tar, and you don't know whether you're going to be left-wing, right-wing, over here at the strip club, doing this drug, doing this guy, doing that person. You're just flying around on the internet, aren't you? Doing absolutely nothing and just typing away, texting back and forth, and they live in this altered state of reality where they think they're supermen and women. Sometimes even they wear capes as Antifa comes out with the mask, as the right-wingers come out with the mask. And where they be right-wingers, or where they be left-wingers, they're wearing a hijab. Portlanders, they love the hijab. They hate the person who stems from the foreign world. And they say, immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome. No, they're not. No, they're not. Portland is left-wing white power. White power, white power. They don't deny it. They don't write an article debunking it. They are it, and they run the show. They run Black Lives Matter. They run this, and they make sure they turn the other way when there are black people attacking white people. They in Portland, Oregon will literally cover that up. I bet there's pretty women on the left that they inserted into that psychopathic satanic shithole on earth to put away good men who defend themselves and their women from fucking harm. They're anti-gun, they're anti-God, they're anti-family. They are fucked. And I would love to know if foreign governments have been influencing the state of Oregon. Because when they did that shit, after years of putting people in prison to get fucked up the ass by the brothers because of mistakes they made, all of a sudden they're going to sit there and legalize fentanyl. You sit there and legalize these fucking drugs and act like it was some organic thing. Motherfuckers, whether it be on the state level or federal. The people are not in charge. Stop acting like they are. Somehow demons somehow took control of people in power. And it's like, let's make drugs legal and fuck up the rest of America. And then put out the stupid ass show called Portlandia that convinced people into thinking Portland was a good place to be. And so for a number of years, it was like steroids and shit. Like, and then the roaches began to come. I'm not dissing all homeless people. I'm homeless, but like, holy shit, then the apocalypse began. It's like, let's attract the people. And there I was with Eve Morgan talking about the love bite and shit, about how women and men, they were getting duped for a number of years and thinking that Portland was some kind of paradise. So it's like they were being duped by alien beings and shit. And then and I was warning people about it as I was getting pushed out. I was the only person outside of Clyde Lewis, and me and Clyde aren't tight, who was discussing certain conspiratorial truths. I was conspiracy king at Portland, Oregon for a while. And it only made them look down because I was anti-war, and 9/11 was at the crux. Not did we go to the moon in black, not some fridge ass, not flat earth, not some jerky jerk, which a lot of people are into, some beforeitsnews.com crapola, some David Icke, Alex Jones mainstream crapola, some mainstream left woke crapola, some mainstream Donald Trump crapola. I was always outside that box. You hear? I was always outside that box. But genetically, there's no evidence of Portland, Oregon people having anybody of the combination of my ancestry in any position of media and leadership. They always presented me. Even when I talked about black violence, nobody white or black emailed me that day, and that gang hit me in 2007 on 4th in Washington. I got one email from one black woman calling me racist to black people, saying, how dare you save the race of your attackers? There wasn't anybody in the audience saying, bro, sorry that happened. They just thought I was weak. So the real nature of Portland, the real nature of this world is unless you're on top, unless you're a bodybuilder, unless you're popular, unless you have status, you have nothing. The only reason those women even had sex with me in those years is because they saw me as a celebrity conspiracy star. And during those years with Alex Jones and Jesse Ventura and the rise of it, in their minds, he's okay. His race is okay. He's okay. It's okay to be a 9/11 truther until the fake news epidemic. Those people are bringing Sharia law. The left-wing women were very much receptive to that hate frequency as much as the right wing, because it was in that same era in which I came back to Portland, Oregon, in which I had no shelter, I had no housing, I stayed with a woman that I fornicated with in the past, and when she snapped at me, when I was just asserting myself, I'm like, I'm leaving this person, admitting that she likes the sexuality with other men too much in certain ways was too much for me. And what a way to dupe me into thinking that I was doing with a Christian, not with the drugs, not with the alcohol, not with the, invitation for my carnal side to come out, for her to be really disliking the spiritual side. And so looking at the tail of the tape, and all the times they came in, it was always. I was going to play Logos by Carriage and Rain next. It was always people that were super active. And while I support sexual freedom and sexual healing, right, the idea of non-judgment, I do know that sex demons in certain regions on the earth like to pass back and forth between partners. Now, I've shared with you videos of white women that are popular, that are metaphysical, that have the same perspective. And I've dealt with judgmental, angry women that have treated me with disdain over and over and over again, that are addicted, I would say, to an unhealthy obsession with just viewing it as gang stalking, TI, human-based, CIA-based, and not the reptoid, archonic, alien, hybrid nature to dirty sex, to being led to the wrong partners, to understand the deeper nature of evil against the love bite, and from a male perspective, to understand how godly men or spiritual men can repeatedly end up in bed with women that actually hate them at a subconscious level, but through email or initial comments, maybe even for a few years, may feign or fake love, affection. I like you. Hi, want to be friends? Hi, what's your name? Hi, I'm making contact. Hi, touch, you're it. I showed up in your inbox one day. Tag, you're it. Now we're connected and sharing info. And see, you have to be very, very careful if you have a history as a good man of being hated by Portland women, or people that are like the Portland women, which is what? The selling of what? Thy body as a product. The product being monetized, the hugs being monetized, the sex being monetized. And then you have to think about what type of damage does this do to young women that are, and I always thought about that as a young person. What does this damage do to young women that literally grow up in that environment? Okay, it influences them to be, and the idea of dancing sexually is not a bad thing. With conscious people, I see nothing wrong with nudity. I think that pornography as it is right now is the issue. So it's not sexuality, that's the issue. It's not orgasm that I think is the issue. It's the fact that we have a bunch of dirty humans with too many partners, and I'm being pretty solid on that. I think that oral sex is fine with healthy people that are clean, that clean themselves. They're not transferring STDs. Okay. And I think about what loving, healthy sex would be. And I even think about, just so you know, what would you could fit in the category of pornography, a pro-sex website by me look like, in which I'm promoting different types of sex that's loving, taking the standard stuff that's in pornography, maybe even taking screenshots and going, let's put a positive affirmation on this behavior. And these behaviors here, we would say are not spiritual at all. You should never do them. Shoving big things up the ass, hurting someone, causing someone to scream, and simulating torture. These things and more, I say, are no good. These things and more, I said years ago, are very hallmark of Portland-ish, because Portland, Oregon, literally is raping the earth. It literally is a manufactured reality. Think about downtown. Think about the dirty Willamette River. Think about the east side. And tell me that's natural. Tell me that's loving Gaia and her children. I think not. I think I know the secrets that Portland just keep when you're talking in your sleep. They have an issue with intimacy, monogamy, and they really don't have the gusto to fight human trafficking, because they are human trafficking, and human trafficking is them. Everything that they do is human trafficking. Their lives are human trafficking. They're trafficking themselves to live there. They're trafficking their labor, their sexuality, and their kids are being indoctrinated to inherit the world that they created. And so it's nothing but negative karma and bad people that God is allowing to be called there. They're not together enough up here, Portlanders, to know who I am, what my name is, and that my life matters. And that they should be bringing me to Portland, Oregon to give a speech about these things for free at the library. They can't do it because the alien mind control is so strong on the West Coast. You California people know this. In LA, in San Diego, in San Francisco, in all the major West Coast hubs, in Portland, Oregon, and in Seattle. These places on the West Coast have been hijacked by an evil, carnal, very rapey frequency. So if you're trying to save the golden children, if there are any in Portland, Oregon, you could face targeting, witchcraft attacks. When I came back on the air to Portland, Oregon, and I put my show on cable access, no one emailed me. And there wasn't anything that I was doing that was caustic. It was educational. It was well produced. And that's why I stopped doing the show. Because if you keep giving and giving and giving energy-wise to the same population and you're only feeling negativity back, then you might even be doing a detriment. Now, I can't stop talking about the issue of Portland, so I'll keep up with these podcasts. But connecting in with women that I used to love so deeply that I felt that I would die for them, that were watching the show, that were staffed at Open Signal, and then not having emails and only hearing from people outside of Portland, that was very, very distressing. And I had a friend once who came up with an illness, developed an illness, And he had a friend, by the way, just so you know, who was a bodybuilder who died all of a sudden of mysterious causes. And so when I look at Portland from an outsider looking in, I see chaos, mayhem, gang violence, kidnapping, the worst to come, and old people basically are being hunted and killed by these newcomers. These demonic, career criminal, demon-possessed homeless, as opposed to nice off-gridders and people that are just poor, right? Not all homeless are like that. But because of Portlandia, I don't want to blame Donald Trump, but there was a time in which I did kind of blame him and Jones because I felt like their top-heavy criticisms of Portland would draw attacks on Portland from unstable people. And sometimes I still think that. However, to just blame Donald Trump on my part or Alex Jones for centuries of negative karma that Portland has brought itself through what it's done to me and many people isn't fair to them. Portland has been involved in really wicked shit for a long time. Let's go back to it. If masturbation is not something that I want to stay away from criticizing because we're humans, but I do honestly think that the pornography strip club direction that Portland went down was a dark direction, and the kidnapping. There's no way I can excuse that. There's no way you should either. That Portland has always been about raping its people economically, and there's no real rent control now. And so what they've done in Portland is they have raped the taxpayer, and old people that work their whole lives are being stalked, beaten, killed, stabbed, raped, beaten in front of their kids, berated. That can't be an accident. Let's just be real. There's no way. Think about it. Like Portland traditionally has had a very strict like law and order thing, believe it or not. In the night, I got caught up in it, and they put me in the system. Think about how I feeling like my life was partially destroyed by being made an F, by making the mistakes that I had that took away my fucking Second Amendment. You know, if I had my Second Amendment, I'd still be back on that hill in Colorado waiting for the end of the world. But because of what happened, thinking for the like, right? Because of being disarmed by the leftist policies, right? I think they let that city get full of fucking drugs from people on the inside of the Portland police. See, Sin City, right, isn't just a movie with Marv, my friend's old partner, as he would talk about his old partner. He sounded a lot like Marv from Sin City. What was Sin City about? People in power getting it on with little kids. What do you think Portland's been involved in for years? Near Goldschmidt, everybody. I just mentioned him the other day. And, right, we have Kulongoski, who was a part of Top Off 4. I showed you yesterday. What did Kulongoski do before he left office? He set Portland, Oregon up to be taken over and absorbed by the federal government in the event that somebody becomes incapacitated and taken out of the game. Can you get an amen? Wow, what a shyster. And then he worked for Neil Goldschmidt, who had sex with a 14-year-old girl. Don't they typically lock people up for that? And now I'm seeing locally and abroad all these stories about pastors getting arrested by the cops for prostitutes, and I have to wonder about one of those stories. Why is that? Why did that brother, especially when brothers are seen as the preferred, like superhuman race to have sex with, why would he need a prostitute? Unless, one or two, he was spiritual and the women wouldn't have him for being godly. So he became so sexually pent up that he did what he felt he had to do. Oh God, please forgive me. I need it so bad. Or he did have it because he was liked by women, but the sex demons took him over and he just can't get enough. He just can't get enough. You just don't know with some of these pastors if they're really being godly enough and staying off those naughty websites. So Portland has also kicked out of their home many people who own their home outright, who work for the city, and they became homeless, dependent on the city, kicked out of the house because they couldn't afford the property taxes. Just this nation is full of nightmare stories of people that work hard, that weren't on welfare, that gave the city everything. And what are they doing now? And I'm going to get off soon. You got people sign up for permanent housing. Oh, great. The permanent housing. All these people. And of course, I yell at that lady, and I won't do it anymore. Not that I don't have to. I don't want to be nice. That lady, I yelled at her a few times. She came to my meetups. And she went on to go to Portland State University, where so many people have. My dad went there. My mom went there. Marshall went there. She went there. There's a bunch of scumbags that went to Portland State University. What the hell are the aliens doing at Portland State University? I'm just saying. All I wanted her to do was maybe to go on Facebook and go, hey, this guy that we knew hosted Meetup, he could use some housing. Does anybody have an idea or a place where he can park? And the fact that I liked her, I think worked against me or something. Yeah, moving on. So when I saw her online move on with her degree, knowing that I gave her inspiration during the college days when she came to my meetups religiously for 2 years, she complained about her boyfriend a lot. We'll call her subject N. She complained about her boyfriend a lot to the point where it's invited me to think romantic thoughts about her. Like I might rescue her. She complained. By the way, did I tell you she complained about her boyfriend? And then I'm like, hey, your boyfriend's abusive. Can I have a chance? I don't care that you have 3 kids with 3 dads. Can I have a chance? Wow, I like you. You're like an angel. Can I call you? Oh, you are an angel. Oh, hey. So, you understand? From that experience and knowing her, I came up with maybe a perspective that we need some Vipassana music. A perspective that I was being used. You know what I'm saying? And that's not really something that I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to change my clothing real quick. I just take off my clothing so I can just let it out. All right. Through the pornography that's all over Portland, many men are led into entrapment, and they don't know that it's possible that such activity, I'm not going to judge self-care, it's how you do it and the thoughts you have. And I think now, by these places in Portland that have these giant screens in the 70s and 80s. Have you seen Taxi Driver? In Taxi Driver, he loses his girlfriend opportunity by taking her to a dirty movie because somehow, even though he was nice, he didn't realize that that's nasty. And I'm telling you, if you live in environments where everything is nasty and dirty and it's in the air, it's going to affect the mental health and sexual health of the people. That's it. I've said enough. We have 8 people here. You need to hit subscribe, like. There's videos constantly on this channel. I'll be back with more.